Have you ever thought about becoming a YouTuber? Well, just imagine for 1 minute what it must be like having 75,000 subscribers and over 15.5 million views across your channel. Imagine what it must be like when your intentions to simply document your life and travels suddenly takes over your life and becomes your new full-time job. Countless companies paying you to dedicate just a few minutes of your video to them. And all of this to have happened in less than 2 years. Well, that's exactly what happened to James and his channel By the Curb. Today, he's agreed to meet with me and tell me the secrets of his YouTube success. I probably also need to mention that his greatest achievement to date is being my big brother.
Go on, how was your journey?
You just cut out a bad word, I said. In fact, you felt out of place if you weren't doing it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another vlog. I am joined today by the one and only Jim Bob, my big brother, otherwise known as By the Curb off YouTube. So we're going to have a little chat about his YouTube journey and see if he can give me any hints and tips, because, you know, he's doing the big brother thing here and he loves thinking that he's telling his little sister stuff. So yeah, he's going to give me some hints about what I can do to get my channel as, hopefully, as successful as his. So Jim Bob,
Hello.
welcome to Beck and Beyond.
It feels a bit weird, this.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, you interviewing me.
I know, it does feel weird, but, you know, I interview you all the time, don't I suppose?
Well, it's like telephone conversations we have, isn't it, really, when you ring me up and we're always talking YouTube, because we've got that sort of thing in common now, haven't we?
We have, we've always, it used to be like football, didn't it?
Yeah.
And other stuff, but it's slowly transitioned to YouTube now.
Bloody YouTube.
Bloody YouTube. Told them a little bit about your YouTube and how you've kind of grown really, really quickly, but I want to just talk to you a little bit about the nitty gritty of it more so. You're established now. How long have you been doing it?
Oh God, just over 2 years, I think. I started in December 2023.
Yeah. Feels like you've been doing it so much
It does,
longer.
it's not long at all. And I just put a video on of me and Helen when it was my 50th, my 50th birthday.
Why did you do that?
Don't
What was
know.
that about? Did you just have a brainstorm?
Well, at the time I thought, I mean, I like creating stuff, don't I? Like writing music and making daft little videos and stuff like that. And it suddenly dawned on me, because I was always watching YouTube, and I thought, I can just put my own videos on and it's like, we can look back at them, you know, in how many years'
A bit
time.
like Facebook, I suppose, isn't it? Because you can look back and, look at all your old photos. But you were never, like, big on Facebook anyway, were you? So it seems that it's quite a big step to then just put videos on.
Yeah, I guess. And it was a bit weird at first, because, you know, when you're a bit shy as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably one of the best things that YouTube's done for me, is brought me out of my shell a little bit.
Yeah. Well, actually, same me as well. It's been really good for us both, that, hasn't it? But it's been good because you've had Helen as well, and Helen's just Helen's bubbly.
Helen's the star of the show.
She's the star of the show.
We've got to be honest that,
we do love Helen, don't we? So your first video was your 50th. So that was, what, 20 years ago?
It's a cheeky sod, isn't it? Yeah,
so
runs it family, doesn't it?
So and then you obviously put that video out because you were starting to convert your little van.
And I was making these videos and I just enjoyed doing them, and there were nobody watching. I remember that video, I remember ringing Helen and said, somebody's looked at that video.
Really? Did you have one view?
Yeah, I had one view. We've had a viewer. But then the big thing for me was when I moved out of my house and I did that video.
Yeah.
And
that was the start.
Yeah. And it were a bit of luck. I've got to admit, I've been very lucky in my YouTube journey, because I put a video on and it's a crap video. It's just me saying I'm moving out of my house, but it just hit a nerve because a lot of people were in that same situation.
I think that was it. It was kind of the perfect timing for that video, wasn't it? With the economy and everything that was happening. It just kind of, like you say, it hit a nerve, and
it was surreal. It was really surreal.
How many views did you get on that? Well, what are you at now? Because
it's not that many, you know, compared to some big YouTubers. It's not that many. I don't know off the top of my head. It might be about 400,000, 500,000 or something like that. So it's not many in the great scheme of things. But when you've gone from having 1 or 2 views on a video, and then you wake up and it's had like 10,000 views overnight, and then people are subscribing, I'm like, oh my god! And I couldn't believe it. I was just sat there, just looking at statistics all the time and figures.
Can you remember how many subscribers you got off that video?
I can tell you how many I've got up to date.
Go on.
9,000.
On that one video?
One video's got
That's
9,000
incredible.
subscribers.
Yeah.
You'll find that you have certain videos that you do that'll get you a lot of subscribers. You have what I call, there's 2 different types of videos. There's like your maintenance videos, which is just your general, like the one I'm going to film on today, just
You mean I'm your maintenance?
You're my maintenance video. But then there's, I don't know, there's growth videos, and they're the videos that that will get you subscribers and get you an audience. And as long as it's the same type of thing as what you normally do, then the audience should watch your other videos if they like you. So
you see, so these are the tips that we really, really need. These are the things that I want you to talk about today, and just kind of like, because there's so many people who want to do it, and we've been listening to that podcast. What's he called, that guy?
You'll have to put it on screen. And it's my mate Kevin, the Scotsman in Tenerife, absolutely brilliant channel. He's a lovely bloke, and he recommended this audio book. And I'm like, well, it's a paperback book and an audio book. I was like, I don't need this, because I live and breathe YouTube, my statistics and everything. You've seen my spreadsheets, what I've got. But it's actually really good, and it's quite helpful because it just reminds you of, little tips and hints. So recommend that. If you're on Spotify, it's free as well.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. But we've been watching that, and it's kind of gives a lot of pointers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because and the one thing that he actually says is that everybody should have a YouTube channel, because ultimately, what have you got to lose? I mean, even if it is just a log of your life, like what you initially thought yours was going to be, then that's a fantastic thing to have, because you've got all your videos to look back on and share with your family. But you never know what might happen, and one day you might wake up and find yourself like our James and be a full-time, YouTuber. Go on, how much you earning?
Whenever you talk to people, I had a taxi driver the other day, and he's like, lovely bloke, and he's like, what do you do for a living? I says, I do YouTube. And he says, first thing they say is, how much do you earn? They always say that, and you don't do that in any other.
And that's the thing, that's a bit personal, isn't it? And no, but I'm not going to ask you to say what figures, because it is personal. But what income streams do you get from YouTube? Because it's not just YouTube, is it?
It's not just YouTube. So what you do, there's a few ways. There's when YouTube put adverts on your video. This is after you've been monetized. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers to get monetized.
And is it 4,000 watch hours?
4,000 watch hours. That's the harder one to get, isn't it?
One.
So once you've got that, when they put the adverts on your video, you get a percentage of it. So obviously, the more views that you get, the more money you're going to earn. That's not the only income though. There's sponsorships, and you get companies every day, don't you? I mean, you get.
I get them every day.
Every day they want to sponsor you. Some of them are rubbish. There's a lot of products that you won't even want to promote, isn't there? I mean, I get like hair care and stuff.
Do you know what I keep getting?
What?
Jacks, car jacks.
Yeah, because that's what you want.
A car jack?
They send them out they're like fishing, aren't they?
Yeah, this is the thing. And I think they play on people's inexperience.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, had I have not got James, I might have thought, oh my gosh, this company wants to sponsor me, and I think it's quite easy to get carried away and jump in and do all these sponsorships. Whereas James has advised me to just, don't do them all at the beginning, because it can be quite frustrating for viewers.
Yeah.
But also, you sell yourself short, don't you?
Yeah.
And they're getting, potentially great advertisement for nothing. It costs them nothing in the early days.
When you realise what they're offering you as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've had businesses and stuff, and when I think about what I've paid for advertising, just a small advert in a newspaper, we pay £500 or something like that, and the rest. But then on some YouTube channels, they're getting thousands, tens of thousands of views. So, they can pay quite well, the sponsored deals. So they're worth doing. It does get a few people's backs up though, doesn't it, sometimes? Yeah. But the way I look at it now is, I do this full time, and as long as I don't do too many sponsored videos, I have a right to earn a living, haven't I? And there's merchandise you can do, I don't do any of that.
We've discussed
I might do something in future, but I don't know what I'd do. I don't want to do like the usual t-shirts and stuff like that. I fancy doing a product of some kind.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing a beer.
Which I think is brilliant.
We've spoke to some breweries and we've looked at it like a bythecurb beer, which we think could do well, but technically with it being alcohol, there's lots of limitations and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, when you look at the profit in it, you think we'd be spending all this time doing that. You'd probably not even make any money. But there's something to do. But because everyone always asks what money you're earning from YouTube, and I'm not going to give a figure, but it's okay. I would say, well, I've said that, I say it's okay. It's actually good now. I earn a good living from YouTube.
I think the one thing that people have to remember is, James, you're earning a good living out of it now.
Yeah.
However, it can drop. It can just stop just like that. It takes maintenance. It's not. It's not a regular income now. It's not. He's not on PAYE from a company or anything.
No.
He earns because he puts the hours in, and like you say, it's a risk because it can just stop at the click of a finger, can't it?
And you've got to be doing your videos all the time. If you stop doing videos, your money just drops.
Yeah.
And then there's certain times a year, like now, January, it's terrible. You'll earn half what you'll earn in December, and that's because the advertisers, they pay more to advertise on videos during the sort of last 3 months of the year.
So this is why you see so many people pumping out video video in December.
You have to do it.
Vlogmas
but then you have to do it all the time, don't you? I do now because the money's rubbish in January. So you think, well, I need to do more videos to earn a reasonable income. And I tell you what, I get a lot of not criticism, but when you get your trolley comments and stuff, you get stuff like, "Oh, you're always on holiday" and stuff like that. What they're not realising is I'm taking the money that I'm earning and I'm putting that. I'm reinvesting it to make a video. And I'll tell you a perfect example of that, and that's what we meet Tim. I've got tons of time for him. It's a great channel, but he stays in these luxury hotels. He's earning good money on YouTube, but he's spending all that money to bring unique videos.
It's like any other business. You've got to reinvest in what you're doing. It's just that so when people watch it, they think, "Oh, you're having time of your life." But
they do, and they don't realise.
No, I'm actually only having one night in this amazing hotel for the benefit of this channel.
Absolutely.
So
it is a business, and it's a good business. I have an accountant. I pay all the taxes and things like that, and I do all right. I'm not going to. I see some YouTubers, and I know their stats and their figures, and a lot of them will plead poverty. And I think that's I think they're being a bit disingenuous with that.
So one thing that I'll tell you about my brother is something that as a family we've always poked fun at him at, and that is the fact that he gets completely obsessive with something. When he finds something that he enjoys, a hobby, whatever it is, his focus is then 100% on that one thing. And we saw it with YouTube to start off with, but this is the one thing that just seems to have continued and continued. Normally these fads wear off after about a month, don't they? But this just has completely taken over your life, hasn't it?
Because I love it, because I earn a decent living doing something that I absolutely love. I mean, it don't get any better than that. It's a dream, isn't it?
It is a dream. I think definitely for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It suits your lifestyle perfectly.
Yeah.
But what are the highs and lows of living this life?
What, the YouTube life, the highs and lows? Well, the highs are definitely the freedoms. So I'm completely free. I can get up when I want. I can do what I want. I can be anywhere I want. You can do vlogs anywhere in the world, really. And if you put the effort in, you can earn a good living. And it took a bit of getting used to, but you know, when you're walking around and you see people and they recognise you, I mean, that were really weird at first, but I've got to admit, it is quite good.
We can't go anywhere now. Well, you can't go anywhere.
And when I'm with Helen, if we're just out and about in his normal lives, because I think sometimes people look at you and think, I get that a lot. I know you from somewhere. And I'll joke, I'll say, is it Crime Watch? And they'll say, no, it's YouTube. And I'll say, yeah, it is. But and Helen gets it, but I think people are a lot less likely to approach Helen, you know, when she's on her own, a woman on her own. But when they see us together, it's that instant.
But that was one of the funny things, I think, if you remember, when it first started happening, and before I started on YouTube, and some of James's subscribers didn't really know who I was. We would be out together on family occasions, and you'd have people thinking that you were cheating on Helen.
No, well, I was with you in Bridlington, and somebody said something about you.
They thought you were. We didn't know whether to approach you because we thought you were doing a moonlight with another woman. Anyway, trolls. So we've done the highlights.
Oh, the lowlights. Well, there's a few lowlights. There is. The trolls is the big one, and you can't. We're getting a lot more used to it, to dealing with it, because no matter what I say to people is, no matter what your channel is, you could be rescuing little orphan deers and making the most wholesome videos about tulips and things like that, and people hate you for it. It's just this weird thing. And what we've realised, I tell you what made me realise, it dawned on for me was, I remember once having a really nasty troll, and then I clicked on him because you want to have a look at him, see what they're about and everything, because he'd got his own videos up. So I clicked on him and I was really angry, and it turned out he'd obviously got serious mental health issues, and I went from that feeling angry to feeling a bit sorry for him. And you do realise there is a lot of, and I'm not saying this flippantly, there's a lot of mental health issues out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, that guy, if you watch my channel recently, I had a situation with some complete mental case, banging on my van in the middle of the night and screaming incoherently and stuff like that. What's to stop him being on YouTube? The one thing, I think YouTube is predominantly men that watch YouTube, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
we
think
ought to find that statistic out.
I think it is statistically, it is mainly men, and there is a lot of misogyny, because Helen gets a lot of. And you think, how can you say anything bad about Helen? Do you know what I mean? And it's like this hatred, and you think, where's that come from? And you can't say it don't affect you, because if you're having one of them days where you're feeling a bit vulnerable, it can be really tough. You know, it can get you down, and you want to you need to edit that out, because I got demonetised for that.
Oh, did you?
For saying.
Oh right, okay.
So you just have to cut that.
So one way that people avoid trolls.
She's just cut out a bad word, I said. So if there's a cut there, it's not a bad word.
This is meant to be my video, and he's doing director, he's going all this.
I did, because I realised I said something. Now I didn't say it bad, but there's certain things where you can get demonetised on YouTube, and there's certain phrases you think, well, what's wrong with that? But it's where it can be portrayed. And it's not. And I just realised I'd said something, but I said, look.
Yeah, you see, and I wouldn't have known that. So that's a good tip.
It is a good tip. Be careful what you're saying, the type of content that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. But going back to the trolls, I was just saying that people eliminate that by not having comments turned on. Have you thought about turning yours on?
No, I always have comments on. There's a reason why. And there's a guy called a channel called the Outdoor Boys, which Helen absolutely loves, and they don't have comments on theirs. But it's probably because he's got his kids on. We've talked about this, haven't we? Because I don't have my daughter on, but you put Edward on, and I think he might possibly change his channel.
I mean, he would be on it all the time, but it's my other half, Mark, does not want Edward on it, and he's kind of resigned to the fact that he might be on it occasionally, but I've kind of toned it right down, and it'll probably get less and less as we go on, because you've got to be careful. It's
there's just some nutcases.
There are some nutcases.
Overwhelmingly, the majority of people are fantastic.
Yes, it's the minority.
My subscribers are absolutely brilliant, and I think we've got a really good community on my channel. I think
that's what it's about. It's about community, and I think that's what you've created. And I've been lucky because a lot of your subscribers have come across to me, and I feel like I've got this little community as well. And the comments, when they're good, it's lovely, because you recognise people, and they become friends, don't they?
They do, yeah.
And it's
and then
nice.
when you do see people out and about, and they'll tell you, they'll say, oh, I'm such a, because everyone's got a username, they'll say, oh, I'm such and such, and you go, oh my God, I've been talking to you for ages. It's really good. And I'll tell you what's good as well is if we get a really nasty comment, and Helen will say, have you seen that comment? She'll ring me up, or she'll screenshot it and send it to me, look at what somebody said. And I'll say, leave it.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is some other subscribers will come to your defence and tell them off. unless the comments really bad, then you can delete them.
Yeah.
I've told you about that. You can hide them and block them and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mentioned your obsessions with things going through life. Now, James is notoriously in love with spreadsheets.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, Helen. He probably loves spreadsheets a little bit more.
Oh, I couldn't say that. Well, Helen's a nerd as well. She loves a spreadsheet.
Oh, do you sit there?
We're both. That's like, in fact, she got me a mug last year and it said, I love spreadsheets. And that's our perfect night. We'll sit there on his laptop.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the dark nights fly by,
comparing
don't they?
spreadsheets, yeah.
The
And graphs. Look at that graph I've created.
So can you give any tips to people who, have got YouTube? How, if say somebody's already established on YouTube, is there any kind of your methods that you use with spreadsheets that might, transfer to other people?
I keep saying this to you, and you've not done it enough yet.
Because I hate spreadsheets.
Yeah, but it's easy. Just Google Sheets. It's so easy to do. You don't need any knowledge. You can watch a basic YouTube video on how to do it, but you need to log every bit of. You get so much statistics in YouTube anyway, but there's certain metrics which I like to track. So when I put a video on, how many views it's had in the first hour, how many people have the click-through rate, how many views it's had in the first day, how many views it's had in the first 7 days, how many subscribers have subscribed in the first 24 hours, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I even categorise them and I have tags and everything, so I can briefly see what type of category the video is, whether it's a van life, in my case, just a van life, or it's a travel or a hotel or something like that. And then as you build up a collection of videos, you can see which ones are performing better. And then if you think, I need to do a big video, I need to look at that one, look how well that one performed, and I need to do something similar to that.
Yeah. You are a nerd, aren't you?
Well, that's what I do. I can tell how many views my video is going to have within after the first hour, I'll be able to say roughly how many views it will have had in like a week or something like that. You can always tell when it's going to be good. The big thing is the clickbait. Everyone talks about clickbait.
Yeah.
And it's
explain what clickbait is for the people who don't understand it.
No matter what you do, you get accused of clickbait. And to a certain extent, you have to clickbait a little bit. I think, is there something like 16 million YouTube channels, and there's tens of thousands of videos pumping out every hour probably.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to get people's attention. So if your thumbnail is rubbish or your title's rubbish, then nobody's going to bother. They're not going to click on it unless you're really well known. There is some YouTubers that are brilliant and they've built up such a good following that the people know that video is going to be good. Yeah. So they could just put any garbage thumbnail on. But if you're new to it or you're a smaller channel, it's like
it's a headline.
It's a headline. It's like a newspaper headline. It's like a poster for a movie. You don't have these Hollywood companies that spend billions doing a video and then do the crappiest poster, do they?
No.
You've got to play to your strengths. But having said that, you can't lie.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I was just going to say, on the podcast that we were listening to, wasn't there something where it said that YouTube actually have a system integrated where, like an AI system, where it actually looks at your thumbnail, it looks at your title, and it scans through your video.
Oh, it does. And the technology.
It's scary.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Big Brother and all that.
Yeah, it gets a sentiment of your video. So if you're doing really bad clickbait, you might get a few clicks to start, but then eventually you're not going to last. It's like, as an example, I had my biggest video recently is that guy I had with banging, and people commented, a few trolley comments saying, oh yeah, you had time to film it in that, didn't you?
Yeah.
But when you're in this YouTube mindset, if something happens, you just think, oh, that's
you do completely.
I've got to film that, because I had something similar over a year ago and I didn't film it, and I regret that. You've got to do it, but because you're getting some natural sort of content there and you're not having to make it up or lie or anything like that. So
natural content is an absolute godsend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that is the bane of a YouTuber's life, trying to come up with content.
But then you get these channels which I don't particularly, some of them are good that do it, these guys that walk around and they're filming sort of confrontations and stuff like that. Because people, human beings, we all, if you see a thumbnail and it's a confrontation, your sort of instinct is to, oh, what's happened there, isn't it? That's why you're clicking on it. So these guys will do a video where they've filmed a confrontation. I've seen it happen all the time. And they've had loads of views, so then they think, right, I need to be doing that all the time. to the extent where you get certain YouTubers that go out and antagonise people on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get the content.
something.
Because it's a bit funny, isn't it, that it happens every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Most unlucky person in the world gets into a fight every week.
Yeah, I think eventually the audience they're not stupid and they realise what you're doing, and I think those channels eventually sort of die away.
Yeah. How do you come up with your content that is not naturally sent to you? Because that is so hard. It's something I struggle with terribly. Content anxiety, thinking of ideas. So where do you get ideas from? We all have these channels that we love, don't we, and that we watch. You just look at them, don't copy them completely, because I hate that, people that copy your videos. But there's a lot of that going on YouTube. But you can sort of get inspiration, can't you? Yeah, because nothing's completely, well, obviously there are things that are unique, but it's very rare that you'll find something that's completely unique on YouTube.
We all get inspiration.
Absolutely.
You know, I talk about Walk With Me Tim. I find him very inspiring. Only thing is I can't afford them hotels yet. But you think, but he's built up to that. He did just walking around seasides and stuff like that, and he's built up to now where he's jetting around the world, and it's fantastic. You know, I find that inspiring. With my niche, the van stuff, you know, sometimes if I do like a vlog like I'm doing today when I come into Sheffield, and people say, well, that's not van life, but there's only so much content you can do. You have to sort of spread your net a little bit, don't you, and do different type of stuff.
Well, you're travelling in your van to get here.
Well, that's it. I could have said that. I could have said that.
I've got a notes section on my phone, and in the middle of the night you'll go, oh,
it's always middle of the
night. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Middle of a netball match in the gym. Oh, that's an idea.
That's an idea.
And just jot it down in your phone, and then you've kind of like got a go-to if you're struggling for something to do or time to do things. You know, just having that go-to list.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you find, but subscribers will also give you good ideas.
Yeah, you get some good ideas in your comments and stuff like that.
Just try and pour your tea again. What were you doing?
I don't know how to do this.
Oh, honestly.
Look, I've got a pool there.
It's just poured his tea through the sieve, but he didn't put it. He forgot to use the sieve.
Well, I don't know what you do. You just do that, do you?
Yeah, so the other bits are cupped to rest your sieve in after you.
It's like yellow. What sort of tea you got me here?
You're not letting it percolate enough. You've got to let it stew.
It's a cup of Yorkshire tea. Fetch me to these posh places.
Oh dear, I should have took you to a chippy, shouldn't I?
Absolutely. We're sat in this window and there's people walking past. It reminds me of them, like, you know, Saturday morning TV programmes.
Oh,
you know, when they were starting, when people have been stood outside.
What was that one where they had the big map on the? It was in Liverpool, wasn't it?
Was it Good Morning Britain or something like
they
that?
had the big map and he used to jump across to Ireland.
Yeah.
The good old days. How do people get started? What would you say if somebody's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, and like I procrastinated for months and months, as James is saying, just do it.
That is the advice, just do it.
Just do it.
Just film. I mean, my early videos are terrible. They're really bad. You just do it on your phone or something like that. Because there's a saying, isn't there? It takes 100 videos until you realise what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've got to learn about your camera, you've got to learn about editing. But there's people that don't even edit videos. You can just record one long thing and put it up. Because the thing is, right at the beginning, unless you're already a celebrity or something like that, nobody's going to watch it. But don't get disheartened. You've just got to keep doing it. And then you'll have one video that you'll think, ooh, that's done all right. That's had a few. But even if it's 50 views, you think, well, there's obviously an interest in that. So then you do more of that type of stuff.
Yeah. Do we know what the average is for length of time before people are monetised? I know it varies.
Who monetised?
But it's like, because obviously you had that fantastic video that just...
Yeah, I was lucky. I'll admit it, I was lucky.
I was lucky because you sent people across to me. Yeah. So I was monetised, I think, in my second month, something like that. But I know it can notoriously
people can go years before getting monetised.
Yeah, so...
You've got to love it, otherwise you won't do it. If you're doing it just for money, you're not gonna be able to do it. But I did it to be able to look back at my own videos. It's like having your photographs and it's
This is your life.
It is. It's great. Watching your stuff. And I always thought for my kids to watch. When I'm dead and gone, they can.
Oh God, that's so embarrassing.
My daughter's very embarrassed by me when we see subscribers, and I'm with her. She don't like it.
Because she's got to share you with other people.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Right. So, starting out, what do you need? You've said you could film it on your phone, but what is the optimum? I mean, I use a GoPro. You've progressed, haven't you?
Well, I use GoPros as well, and I started on my phone. Then I went to a GoPro. I have this one now, as it happens. I have it here, which is the Osmo Pocket 3, which has got to be probably, I think, the best vlogging camera.
What I like about your camera is it's really discreet.
Yeah.
I find with the GoPro, it still looks quite bulky, especially when you've got the wind protector on it.
Yeah.
That you can be a little bit more discreet walking into a shop and stuff. How much are they?
They're not cheap. They're about £500-600. Yeah, but you get the microphones with them and stuff. Because you get better audio. But I mean, if you've got the money I won't go straight away without. Make sure that you like it. You're going to be doing it full time, or maybe spend your first paycheck when you monetize. Get one of them.
Yeah.
But there's cameras that are a lot more expensive than that as well. But they're quite big, honky things.
Big bulky things.
I would like one because the footage that you get is amazing. But I think
you see, you're over that wanting to be discreet now, aren't you? You're fully confident walking around the street, whereas I'm still a little bit like.
I am sometimes. You have ups and downs. You have some days when you're not feeling it. Then other days, you feel quite, confident.
Yeah.
The change in me, personality-wise, from doing YouTube, is just been. It just dawned on me that nobody cares really, do they?
No. It's quite funny. I was watching a vlog with Joe Good, the Midlife Minx, who I've spoken about before, and she was talking about that. She says, in London it's easy because everybody's walking around.
Well, that's what I've said,
yeah. It's not as common in Barnsley and Sheffield, but down there.
If you want to practice recording yourself, go to a tourist spot like London, because I remember when I went to do a vlog, probably about a year ago, and I couldn't believe how easy it was, because I was looking around and everyone were doing it. They were all like FaceTiming people and stuff like that. In fact, you felt out of place if you weren't doing it. So I'm like walking around. Yeah. Whereas if you go to a little village and there's just one other person there and you're filming, you're walking towards somebody.
It's funny that, isn't it? Because you go to, I've kind of gone to places thinking, it'll be quiet, or I've gone really early in the morning thinking there'll be less people about, but that sometimes makes it worse because that one person is more likely to pay more attention to you, as opposed to the 20 people who are just getting on with the day. So that's something to bear in mind, I think, isn't it, when you're starting.
And it is quite common now.
Yeah.
People do look at you occasionally, but they're like, oh, you'll be vlogging.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes people say, oh, you're doing a vlog?
Yeah.
I remember testing myself once, and it was in Sheffield. And that video, I never put it up as it happened because I had settings wrong on camera. But there was the food fair on, and I thought, right, I really need to start pushing myself. So I found the biggest crowd I could find, and I just walked straight through the middle, holding the camera, filming myself.
Yeah.
But, I've seen people setting them up on tripods, standing there like a news presenter and stuff like that. Crowds of people around them. It don't matter, does it? We're going to die soon anyway. Nobody cares.
We're all dying.
It really don't matter, does it? Can you think about it?
No, it doesn't. So cameras, we GoPro, which are not good in dim light. So I was a little bit concerned about filming in here actually, but we are sat in a window, so fingers crossed it's going to be okay. So we've done cameras. Oh, have you done it properly?
Oh, it's like yellow, that tea.
Yeah, that's what tea looks like.
No, I don't know what tea this is.
Put some milk in it.
We'll try it,
Software.
There's loads of software you can use for editing. As I said, some people don't edit, they'll just film it all in one go and then just upload it. But
what's the one on your phone? Is it CapCut? That's a lot of people
that's
use
free.
that,
There's software called CapCut. If you just want to do it all, you can do everything on your phone. You can do a video, you can edit it, and you can upload it. I always say to people, look, just go to YouTube. There's so many tutorials, isn't there? How to upload a video from your phone, and there's tons of tutorials. I love editing. I've been known to spend 2 or 3 days editing a video because I like putting music on and stuff like that. I use Premiere Pro, which is not cheap. I mean, it's not the most expensive.
It is for me.
What?
Because I get your on yours.
What some people would do is when you get a Premiere Pro license, it's all right for 2 computers, and I've got 2 computers. My other computer just happens to be at my sister's house. So, but Premiere Pro is quite good. It's like the industry standard, so it can do just about anything really. But there's loads of free options. My first one I used was called Filmora, and I think it was free at the time. But then I think you had to pay for it, so that's when I went to Premiere Pro. There's one called DaVinci Resolve, which is free and it's fantastic. Even some like movie studios use that.
Do they?
And it's free, yeah. The thing is, you've got to realise you need a good computer. Think of the most powerful computer you can get, and it's not enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
There's nothing worse than when you've spent all your time editing and you're ready to rock and roll, and then you sat there.
yeah, because you have to render it out.
Gosh, it's a nightmare, isn't it? And if your computer is slow or you've got a weak internet connection, it can take hours. And I mean, in my case, sometimes it took a flipping day to get things right.
Yeah.
And you always need to check it once you've done it. So if you then find out that you've made the tiniest of mistake, you've got to go back in and then redo it all again, and it's just.
But that's because we're perfectionists as well.
But we are perfectionists, absolutely.
Some people won't be bothered, would they?
No, and that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I won't be bothered at start. I'll just upload anything because
yeah.
nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you set your channel up, just get uploading, put anything on. When you look at some of the videos out there, you think, well, couldn't be that bad, could it?
Absolutely. So I'm slightly concerned that we are running out of time, and we're meant to be here doing a vlog for James today, and I have jumped on it.
So get looking at my vlog, and if you're not subscribed to me, get subscribed.
Right, so let's get to the nitty gritty. What is your highlight of being a YouTuber?
Highlights off the top of my head, well, there was Texas. We went to Texas, didn't we? And that's a company that sponsored us. So when somebody contacts you and say, oh, we want to send you to Texas and we'll pay for it, you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good day.
Let me think about that.
Let me have a think about that, yeah. So that was a highlight. Benidorm, when we went to Benidorm on the fancy dress, me and Helen, and that's when we realised it was like all our subscribers happened to be in Benidorm that week. And we were walking down the street in his fancy dress, and like every other person was like, oh, it's James and Helen. It's like, we couldn't believe it. We were like, whoa, do you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump on that actually. So Helen, obviously, if you watch James, you'll know that Helen almost like cameos, doesn't she? It's predominantly you and your van life, but then you often your intrepid explorations with Helen. Do you think Helen will ever give up her job and come on YouTube full time?
I'd love her to do that. I really would. I'd love us just to do van life full time. And well, we couldn't do it full time because I've got my daughter and she's got her kids and everything. But I'd have to be earning considerably more. And that's the thing. And then it's not. She's got a good job. You know, she's a midwife. She's got a pension and everything. So it'd be a bit foolish, wouldn't it, to back it in. So, but you never know. Never say never.
Would you think she'd ever have her own channel?
She should possibly do that. Yes, if talked about to do with it. Yeah.
Competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm conscious, as I say, we're running out of time. It's getting to lunch time as well, so people are going to start. We've had the benefit of having this place to ourselves for about an hour.
It's filling up now.
People are coming in for the lunch. So, shall we drink up and skedoodle?
Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out my brother's channel, By the Curb. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
See you later. Bye.